Good evening, everyone. Hope you all are doing well. Squirrel, I'm glad to see you made it and got your snacks ready. Anthony, welcome. Good to see you as well. Give some people time to drift in. It's showing we got 6 in here already. If you are here, be sure to hit the like button and give us a thumbs up. Helps us, helps the YouTube algorithm know you like the work we're doing, which is always nice. I already got my coffee ready to go here because, yay, coffee. Hope you all have had a nice weekend. Hey, Jade, good to see you, and happy Sunday to you as well. Happy Sunday to you. Real quick, if you are watching this, whether it's live or in the replay, I want to go ahead and early let everyone know that for all YouTube channel members and Patreon members, there will be a members only live stream Wednesday at noon Eastern Standard Time. The stream information and all that is already posted in the community tab for YouTube. And of course, it's posted on the Patreon for Patreon members. Just the day of the stream, you can clicky click there. You should be able to clicky click there and go ahead and save it to your thumbnails if you'd like to also. So yeah, we're getting started with some of those members only live streams. So I will be there. I'll probably just be tinkering around with some stuff to talk to you all and all those good things. Try to get the flow going. I know it's going to take us some time to build up the presence and all that. As how often, how random they'll be, I don't know yet, but we're going to see. So yeah, wanted to let y'all know that. Mary, good to see you. Maria, welcome. Angela, good to see you as well. We're already getting a good number of people drifting in here, which is always nice. Always nice to see. So interestingly enough, I am supposed to actually remind everybody that on January 18th, we have a live workshop, Planes Theory and the Multiverse. So this is a workshop that will be a live workshop. It's available at workingdragonmystic.com. Just go to there and click the online courses. That particular workshop, we're going to be discussing the different theories of the different planes and the multiverse and all that. I know there's a lot of people excited for this particular workshop. So if you are interested, make sure you reserve your seat. And to that, I've also been asked, will we be doing more workshops? It seems a lot of you really like the live workshop concept. Yes, I am planning to make live workshops very much more cornerstone for the online school. And if you miss a workshop, there will be repeats of them. We will go back around to it. And as many people found out, if you take the same workshop twice, I never teach the same way twice. There's always something new to be gained if you choose to want to dive deeper or go further into a subject. That said, Teachable is making a bunch of site-wide changes and everything, which I'm not going to complain. They've been good to us this whole time. I'm still waiting to see how that's going to fully affect the school. If it does, we may see a slight tweak in maybe workshop prices or something, maybe $5 increase on courses. We'll see. We're still diving into that. I'm trying to do everything I can to not change the pricing. And if we do, it's going to be minimal. But I don't blame them with the large shift in the way everything's been moving to an online format, and they've got to do more and more using their servers and all that. It's costing them more and more to host servers, so I understand that. But I just wanted to be straight with y'all here why we could. Let's see. Jade, thank you for dropping that link. I appreciate it. Also, if you are interested in the community, do join the Gilded community. Great group of people. It's getting more and more active over there. We are currently in the start of our 6-month New Year's challenge, where whoever it may be who joins will put forth for them a particular goal, and they will drive toward that goal for 6 months. And we'll share the goal. We encourage each other. And if we have them, we share tips. I myself have already within this first week seen massive improvements to my personal goal, which is beginning a fitness routine to rebuild my strength, as well as getting back in shape, eating better, losing some weight, those kinds of things. Um, and if you can't tell, my energy levels have been up, 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 up. So that's also wonderful. So there we go. Hope that helps a little bit. Let's see. We got some comments in here while I've been rambling. Oh, I'm actually Marianne, so shortened to Mary without the E. Oh, I get it. Okay, that's cool. Annie feeling bad. She's thinking negative, and I can't see. My granny feeling bad. She's thinking negative, and I can't sense my energy in my hand. At least since came back to Poland. Interesting. So let's see. Anthony says still the best price and quality. Well, thank you, Anthony. Thank you. I will always stick to my commitment to keep the work we do quality and affordable. Okay. Let's see. I don't know if it's the country or what, but I want answers to what's going on. It shouldn't be the country. I mean, it shouldn't be. So I would check and see if you got some kind of blockage there, Mary. See what that is. Maybe ground and shield yourself up a little bit, because your worries about your grandmother could also be part of it. It's something I've seen before. But the best I can do is just take guesses at it. So far, mine is going well. I'm seeing good results with mine too. Silent meditation and 1 day self-care thing a day. Nice, Angela. Great, very great. As you all know, I'm eating super, super clean carnivore, cleaner than I've ever done before, for this 6 months. And it's been interesting because like cravings for everything has just vanished this week. So it's like no alcohol, no nothing, but it's been really great. And I'm actually down 6 pounds too, which is a great winner for me. So I'm actually really hyped with such a strong start to see where I'm going to be in 6 months. Of course, we do have the move coming up, and me and the wife's been discussing the road trip and how I'm going to handle that. We have some plans in action for that. But yeah, looking forward to it. Looking forward to it. Violet Star, good to see you. Welcome. Perwin, welcome. Good to see you. Happy New Year. How do you unblock? Depends on the blockage. So generally speaking, if it's a worry or something, you're going to have to go through. You're going to have to ground, and you're going to have to center, and you need to release the stress and the worry that would be creating the blockage. Is generally the easiest way to do it. Another method is you can actually stand in the shower and try to visualize the blockage being washed away and broken up. That would be a great way to do it. But yeah. Let's see, Angela. Blessings and hugs to you, Angela, as well. And we do actually have a topic tonight. If y'all didn't see it, we do. So I'm going to get to that. Don't worry. I need to set up an altar for Hecate outdoor space nearby. I'm trying to think of what to put on it. Taylor, setting up an outdoor altar for Hecate and drawing blank. Honestly and truly, my favorite outdoor altars are simple. I don't worry about what's on them. I usually like to get a nice flat stone or some wood that's weather treated that I can set up and it remains there and it fits with the environment. Think about fitting it with the environment more than what's on it. See, Perwin, you look thinner in the face. Thank you. I'll definitely take that as a compliment. Appreciate it. Let's see. I actually still can't ground, so I'll try the shower. Thank you. Yeah, if you're having trouble grounding, check out. We do have a grounding and shielding video. And when it's available again, we do a live grounding and shielding workshop. We even actually do the grounding exercises live there. So there you go. Good options. All right. So tonight's actual topic is how to measure success and results within one's practice. This is a question I've been getting quite a bit in emails and private messages. And then in the Gilded community, it was dropped within the live stream topic ideals. And with it being New Year's and the fact that everyone is starting to set goals, right? We're starting to build those goals for the year. I thought this would be a great topic because we set the goal. How do we measure the progress? And that can be a tricky one for people. Now, a lot of you all know here on this channel, I don't do spirituality. I don't really do religion. I'm not a big man on faith. So for me, everything is about practical, manifested results. Without results, it's all pointless in my book. And that can be tricky for some people, in all honesty. Gabriel, welcome. Good to see you. And there is some magics and some things that we do that, in all honesty, it can be very, 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 very difficult to measure results. But then that's where we need to sit back and we need to look at what our goals are and ask ourselves, did we actually set a real goal that can truly be measured? Okay. Now, what do I mean by that? Okay. You need to ask yourself what is going to be measurable in your life first and foremost. See, feeling better is an objective measurement that you could maybe put in there, but it's a little harder to measure because depending on what day of the week may change how you feel. And then with wealth magic, here's the big kicker with wealth magic. When people do wealth magic, they're like, I'm hoping to get some extra money, or I need this to pay this one specific bill. And the way magic works, it usually comes in smaller packages and over a long period of time. And this can lead to people thinking, A, it didn't either work, or hey, I found this $20 bill on my way to work. That means it worked. I just didn't get the full amount. All these different things. Now, for wealth magic, my big thing is if I want to grow my wealth, what is my wealth? I need to define what I mean by that before I can actually grow that. So when I was doing wealth magic for my personal life, and if you are following the wealth magic series we've been doing, I actually set a number. I knew that every month after my bills, I had X in the bank account, which was negative at the time. And I knew I wanted to get to the point where I had Z in the bank account, which I'm pretty sure at the time was like 500 left over after everything else was paid. And that's what I set my goal on. And I started doing my magic. I started doing my working. And I also put a time frame in there. All my workings, all my magic was either set at a 6-month or a 1-year time frame. And this is very, very manageable because I'm not looking for little intricate, I found a quarter, I found $20, I found $100. What I'm actually looking at is the end of the month bank statement every time, something that is concrete. Okay, it is very, very concrete. And at the end of the 6 months, that final bank statement, I'm able to look at it and see what was my starting finishing number and where am I currently at. I can easily measure that progress. So if I was at a flat zero every time I paid my bills and I'm now at $307, that shows a tremendous amount of actual financial growth that has happened. And that also tells me that I can continue this process. I can start fine-tuning it. I can start increasing things. And that's exactly what I would do. I would look at something tangible that I could apply this to. And this is actually one of the reasons wealth magic is popular, because done right, it is a very measurable thing. Now, if you do wealth magic to try and be rich overnight, you miss the whole point. And in most cases, I would actually say you're wasting your time and energy. Let's see here. We got to, isn't luck, money, and wealth magic considered a basic form of magic? Depends. Some people view them very, very differently. For me, luck is, I don't like luck magic. I'll be honest with you, because luck is depending on your mood that day and what happens, you may arbitrarily view yourself as lucky or unlucky, in all honesty. So luck magic is a very popular area of magic because, well, it's basically unprovable. Um, and money and wealth magic are very popular just because they sell well. I'll be honest with you. They sell well. Everybody wants money. But as to practically how to apply them and measure them in a actual practical practice, that's something you rarely ever see talked about. And that to me is personally sad. Um, and that's kind of the reason we did start the wealth series, because we are trying to get that out there and how to start measuring those practically. Because most people's just like, well, here's this spell, do this spell, and you will get extra money in your life or this or that. And they inevitably, you hear a few responses, and these responses annoy me as a teacher. Okay. Now, mind you, when I say these annoy me as a teacher, this is personal opinion. Okay. So stay with me on that. But when they say, well, you didn't get the money because your higher self thought it better of you, that's bullshit to me. Fuck my higher self. It can go jump off a cliff. That to me is a cop out and an excuse. Anytime someone use higher self as an excuse why something didn't work, that's a cop out and excuse. If you're not in control of what's in your life, that's not magic. That's just you wandering through the world, and whatever happens to you. That's just how I view it. The second, you didn't believe in it. You didn't believe in it, so it didn't happen. Or the third one is, oh, don't worry, it manifests. You just failed to see where it manifests. All three of those things, absolute cop outs in my mind. Absolute complete cop outs in my mind. Which is sad but true. Now, some people, they like that philosophy. But when we're talking about measurable results, and see, there's the key here. When we're talking about measurable results, you can't lean into faith. You can't lean into spirituality. You can't lean into philosophy. You need something tangible. Okay? And that is where I would challenge everyone in their practice. When you're doing a working and you're trying to build your practice, look at the areas you can look into tangible results, and find a way that you can definitively measure that result. So, for example, one area of magic that I have a lot of mages say, well, you just got to, go with it and see how it plays out, is divinations. Whether it be tarot or runes or whatnot, they're like, you just have to trust it. You just have to trust it. You just have to trust it. I don't blindly trust my mama. Really don't. That's why my favorite divination is scrying. And people's like, well, you can't prove scrying. I actually disagree with that, because the method I use for developing my scrying practice and even teaching with my personal students is literally we scry on a location that we can physically go check. We can actually write down what we're seeing, we can write down what we're viewing, and we can go to that physical location and we can compare the notes. And we can even do this to where, like, one of us sets up a room and sets up a table and positions it, and we scry the room without knowing what's in there, and we do all that. And then you actually can go visually check your results. That is a form of divinations that is genuinely provable. And that lets you know how well your divination skills are getting, which gives you a bit more real proof and tangibility when you're relying on whether it be past or present forms of divinations that you may not be able to tangibly check as easily. Let's see. What is the first one? Let's see. Magically, I first wanted master the energy stuff. Well, that backfired to train it since I got here. I'm not sure if I can sense the energy within me, and if I don't know how to move it to ground it. Honestly, grounding uses basic breathing and thought. It really does. A lot of people make energy work out to be far more complicated than it is. Energy follows thought. And if you check out, we have a video on learning to feel energy, but you also got to realize energy feels different to everybody also. So there's going to be some grade there. But the video we have that talks about learning to feel elemental energy, that's one of them. Your energy is you. Almost anyone has felt their energy at some point because you can feel the radiant heat coming off your body. That, by and large, it is a form of heat, but it is also your energy. And how you feel it's going to be different. So those have got to be in there. That's the reason energy work's kind of one of those wonky ones again. But there is a reason for learning it. Like, see, when it comes to energy and how energy feels, and it's like, does this energy feel like this? I can sit here and describe for you how a particular energy feels to me, but that's really not going to do you any good. That and $2 wouldn't buy you a cup of coffee at the Starbucks because, well, $2 won't get you coffee no more. However, with my students, what I do is I expose them to different energies so they can take personal notes, and then we start randomly presenting them with energies to see if they can actually ID them and identify them just by feel without being told what they are. Those are exercises that I would do with personal students because it's more important for them to know how they feel it than how I describe it. Much like different colors give different people different emotional feels, if that makes sense. Let's see. Devon, hey, and I agree. Welcome, Devon. Is Dragon Magic rarely spoke about? Weirdly, it's getting far more popular. It really is. It's getting far more popular for better or worse. It's, and I will have to say for better and worse, not or, because it's and. Because on one side of the hand, you got a lot of people diving into Dragon Magic who just want to create their own thing and really start spouting off things that they want to view as proven when it isn't. It may be a functional form of spirituality or belief for them that helps them or makes them feel better. And to that, I say kudos to them. But as far as something shareable, tangible that may work for everybody, that starts dropping off quickly in there. However, that said, Dragon Magic really was not spoken about at all. Conway was really the first one that really forced open that door. And even she ran into a lot of roadblocks, which you all have heard me talk about. But she filtered and edited and done everything she could just to make sure that door was open. And to that, I'm very, very grateful. And with that, we are starting to see more and more serious magicians who don't just take the do what you want. The only thing that matters is your intent. Your truth is the only thing that matters. And they actually are applying the nuts and the bolts and the repeatability and everything to it. We are starting to see more of that. However, the amount of them that's actually publishing is rare. And then it gets further muddled and complicated because then you have Draconic Wicca, you have the Draconian Path or Draconian Magic, these things that aren't necessarily dragon magic, but use a draconic or dragon term and further help muddy the waters. Because really, Draconic Wicca it's Wicca with replace the elements for whatever tradition you're doing and put a dragon there. That's pretty much the quickest and easy summary. And there's nothing wrong with that per se. There's not. But the terminologies do muddy the water and make it harder to do the research. And some of these practices are far more popular, like draconian magic, or the draconian current, which most people know is a left-hand path. And it's more deals with darker entities, the Cliffoth or demons and the stuff like that. It deals with draconic imagery and symbolism, not dragons. But since it has that name, a lot of people end up very, very confused. And that's That's a mind puzzle I've been trying to figure out how to actually solve, other than just teaching the terminology so that when you do your research, you can, start reading some passages on whatever it is. You could, like, oh, well, this is a tenet of this, and they're using this terminology. So this is draconian, not dragon. And then, oh, this is more draconic Wicca. That's really the only solution I see, because there's nothing wrong with using these terms. I mean, the draconian path and the draconian current, it is what it is. And, nothing wrong with that. Whew. But because of that, yeah, it's not one of the more popular ones. It's not. Wicca, ceremonial magic, and a lot of your Tree of Life and your Clifothic tree stuff, those are the more popular ones that are getting a lot more press right now for many different reasons. And is that good? Is that bad? It is what it is. That's where I'd say it just is what it is, and there's nothing wrong with that. Yeah, your personal energy will feel different than outside energy. Like, my energy to me feels very specific. My energy, however, will also feel very differently to my daughter. My energy will feel different to my wife. My energy will feel very different to my friend Raven or Katrina. Every one of those people will feel my energy differently, and then I'm going to feel my energy different than all of them. That said, all external energy, all of us are most likely going to feel it very, very differently. But that does mean that there is a difference there. Like, earth energy feels different than my energy. Water energy feels different than my energy. Air energy feels different than my energy. Those are all external energies. Um, Draconic energy feels different than my energy. Azazel's energy. Does that make sense? They're all going to feel very different. But at the same time, I've spent enough time working, I could tell you which element energy is the highest concentration in an area. So, and see, there's Squirrel. She says, my energy is warm and dark to her. So, hopefully that's a good dark, kind of like a beautiful work of Gothic art. I'm just messing with you, Squirrel. You know that. For the record, I think you have good vibes, Drake. Thank you, Angela. Thank you very much. I need more coffee. See, my energy's dark, like a wonderful dark roast. Now, here's a question for you all. What are things you do in your practice, if you are comfortable sharing them here in chat, that you do to track tangible results? Okay. There's a question. I want you guys to start, getting those brains working, firing up, get some oil on those cogs, as it may be. What are some things that you feel comfortable sharing that you do to measure those things? Let's see. Even your own energy, you're going to have to learn to feel it, even within yourself. You really are. The easiest way is the old hand trick. It really does work when you rub your hands together and pull that, because that is your auric energy, and your auric energy will feel the same on the outside as it does on the inside. Your external energy, when it is your energy, it being external and internal does not change it. It is still your energy, so it will feel the same. Let's see, Gabriel. I've always drew dragons as a kid, but learning that dragons are real just confirmed my suspicions of their existence, because I've obsessed with dragons, hoping they were real. Well, I'm glad that happened. I really am. I know a lot of people who they're drawn to dragons. Dragons for so many. Well, I mean, practically humanity as a whole is drawn to them for so many different reasons. I mean, they show up in myth, both as heroes and villains and archetypes for so many different reasons. And dragons don't mind this, because those archetypes teach wisdom and lessons. They really do. And the dragons are okay with this. Say, for example, the medieval European legend of the dragon, the overcoming of the beast. That archetype, that imagery, it's not about killing a real dragon. It's about overcoming your personal dragon. And your personal dragon can be defined as any obstacle that you personally have to confront and overcome in order to grow as a person, and that transition in life. We've all had them. I have had plenty of personal dragons in my life that I have had to overcome and conquer. Um, in fact, I would even say now, my health and trying to get back in shape, get back down to my old training weight and improve my health, that is actually a personal dragon for me right now, because I want to live as long as I can and be healthy enough to keep up with my daughters and to keep up and help my wife go doing all the travel she wants to see all the things she wants to see. And I don't only want to make it to retirement, I want to be able to enjoy that retirement with her. So this is a dragon that is now very important for me to conquer. And that archetype is very, very important. It should not be demonized. It should not be looked down upon, even for those of us who love dragons, because the dragons are very much supportive of the wisdom and the ideal that was taught there. Much the same way as the archetype of the dragon is taught, used to teach lessons in the East. They use it differently, but those lessons are still there. So let's see. Let's see. Your energy feels like I'm on my 8th cup of coffee. 100 book on my 50th. Thank you, Angela. My energy feels sparkly like liquid static. It fades between gold and deep green. Squirrel, you are not wrong. Your energy does it. It has that very, very um, for me, it's very electric. It really is. It's very electric, hypercharged, and all over the place. I think of lightning. I really do. Now the sparkles and the colors, yeah, it's there. A lot of golds and pinks with your energy, Squirrel. A lot of golds and pinks for me when I connect with your energy. Let's see, Angela. I write down my starting point, what I'm working on, and why. Very good, very good. And then I write out how each day's workings have changed on not change or not changed. Very good, Angela. Very good. That's actually something I teach in my journal and note keeping class for research. We actually have a whole workshop on that, and that is a great way to do it. Can't remember if you're one of the ones who's taken that. But that is a great way. And plus, because you have that long line of notes, you can also look back from where you end and where you began, and you can see the whole journey and the improvement. I actually do that myself. I love it. Write things down too. Very good answer. I love it. Thank you guys for being willing to share, by the way. I haven't tried. I track starting, mid, and end points of my work to make sure I'm reaching milestones like you would in an experiment. Exactly, which makes sense, Squirrel. You and I both kind of fall into that scientific method mentality, which I do talk about the scientific method mentality in the workshop as well. So I can see that. And very good. Very, very good. Um, let's see. Are original dragons a thing? Because I want to learn more about dragons. Depends. Are Oriental dragons? Yes, Oriental dragons. Eastern dragons, Asian lings. They're very much a thing. In fact, several of the rulers will appear as an Oriental dragon. So yeah, they're very much a thing. I want to say it's Zephyr Seal and Coralegra both commonly appear as Oriental dragons. It's one of the two major types that dragons can appear as. They can also shift. It's not like a hard set. I mean, so they can shift, but there's a lot of mythology and everything that builds into that, and the dragons love it because they understand the mythology around them. In fact, they're the ones that help seed the mythology to share wisdom. So we should pay attention to that wisdom, even if it seems gruesome, because we're like, oh, they killed the dragon, the knight slayed the dragon. Yes, but the dragons are the ones that help seed this wisdom in the story, and it's about overcoming that. And that's the reason I say dragon magic, though it's about balance and it may not be as harsh as some left hand paths and it's not as easy as the left, it's not for everybody because dragon magic does insist that you face your challenges head on and overcome them, or AKA you conquer your dragon, which there's plenty. We all have endless amounts of dragons in line. Let's see. I track my luck by finding at least 3 or more things that seem significantly lucky to me. Not like just getting to a stoplight and it turns green, more like things that seem almost impossibly lucky, but depending on the day, may seem more bad luck. Okay, I see where you're going there, and that's fair. There is an objectable, trackable thing there. It's a bit more amoebic, but that is trackable, Anthony, and I see what you're doing, and I like that. Like the red light thing, I actually use Golder to find parking spots and alter red lights. I have actually traveled a major strip where there's well over 30 red lights, and it normally takes anywhere from 40 to 60 minutes to get from one end to the other. I can usually do it in 20 because I miss all the lights. I use the Golder, and that allows me to count the percentages. So that's another thing that I do. But I see where you're going there, and that's not a bad idea when it comes to luck. But you're right. It's not gonna be as concrete as like a number on a spreadsheet. But let's be honest, there's a lot of things in Magic. They're not going to be as concrete as that number on my bank account. So what we have to do is do what Anthony did here. Everybody, mugs up to Anthony. And we have to find a structure to collect a large enough data that even though it's not as concrete and squared off and perfect, we have a large sample size that makes sense to us. Okay, so good work on you, Anthony. Say, never been able to peg down my own. Energy work can be tricky. It's not a necessity for Magic either. The ability to feel energy is not necessity. Go back and check out after the live stream. We have a video called on visualization where we talk about the concept of think, feel, manifest. We're not talking about feeling energy. You don't need to feel the heat of the energy. You don't need to feel the cold of the energy. You don't need to feel the texture of the energy. We talk about feeling an emotion. You need an emotion. So if you can think of a thought and you can feel an emotion associated with it, you can then push that out and manifest. The rest of it, as far as energy, that's not really needed. So I hope that works. Go check that video out. I'm actually wanting to do a follow-up on it on sometime. It may be after the move before we get to that follow-up. And I hope you all realize I'm going to freaking miss these live streams during the move because I really look forward to these every Sunday. I really do. These are a lot of fun. Someone asked if one of the admins going to fill in. I am currently not going to make one of my admin fill in like Jade or Squirrel. Lord knows both those ladies have so much going on in their lives. If they choose to randomly have a day free or they're bored and they want to, I will let them. But as far as a regular fill-in, I'm not going to do it. I'm just going to let everyone rest, relax, and get through the move and everything that we got to do. And then, so, that be what that may. But I am still going to miss you all like the dickens. Finally, I'm able to catch it. Hey, Xander. Yep, you're able to catch it. Hope you're enjoying it. Have you ever thought about doing a 10 signs your dragons in your life, even if you don't see them? You're not the first person to ask me that question. And I will admit, Gabriel, I have that ideal wrote down. And I actually have a tally mark for everyone who's asked me that. And I want to do it. But at the same time, every time I sit down to do it, I feel weird. So y'all know I don't really do the fluffy bunny kind of magic stuff, but I love to have fun. So I'm kind of back and forth because this feels like this little fluffy bunny, you're a hippie, or you're a pagan, or you're a spiritual if videos, which are so much fun to watch. But I don't know if anyone takes them serious, or in some cases, I hope they don't. But if I was to do this, I would do it for fun, but I'd also want it to be real. And that's where I'm struggling with it, because I do think it'd be a fun video to do, and I think it would be beneficial. So I'm struggling with the how to, if that makes sense, because either that, or I'm going to have to open the video with, "This is just for goofs. Let's have some fun." You know what I mean? Which wouldn't be the first time I've done it. Y'all have seen my shorts, and anyone who saw the shadow work video, you all know I put a nice little joke in there too, because I just couldn't help myself. But I did the joke to also add a point and a teaching element. So, and I have heard a lot of you mention that you would like me to let my humor show more in videos because you all enjoy my antics and my silliness. And I'm going to try to do that. It's hard for me because my humor, I guess, is what you call it, just seems to come out while I'm talking. I don't plan it. I've never planned a joke in my life. So we will try to do the humor. But as far as that particular video, Gabriel, I would actually like to try to do that video and see if I can make it serious. I don't know if you're talking serious or jokey. Either way, I think you're actually talking serious. So I think you and I have the same mind here. But yes, that is one of the videos I've been thinking on how to best do. It's just due to the silly videos, it's been a tricky one for me to map out in my head and get ready to do, if that makes sense. And y'all know I'm really picky about the product I put out. So, Angela, I give it about a month. If I see nothing in the months of entries, I start tweaking. There you go. Tweak, experiment, adjust, try again. How do you work with the gin? Well, it depends on your philosophy there, really. I actually approach the gin very similar to how I approach all other entities. I will approach them with respect. I will look up the information on the individual gins I'm wanting to work with, and I'll just approach them, whether it be through trance work, journey work, or evocation, and I will treat them with the same respect I do other entities. There are, however, traditions that are very, very, you do this or the gin will blow you up. I ain't been blown up yet, so I'm doing something right. So when it comes to gin, it is very kind of, there's a lot of different opinions out there. But for me, I actually approach them like I do other entities. Angela, we will miss you too. It's an important part of my Sundays. Oh, that's sweet. Now, one thing I do hope to do, okay, just so y'all know, because I know so many of you do look forward to these live streams as much as I do. I am going to attempt to use this little device here we call the smartphone, and at least maybe in the hotel or whatnot, maybe be able to shoot a short or even a 5-minute video, kind of updating y'all, let you know how it's going, share the trip. I'm going to attempt it. I don't know what internet connection is going to be like. I don't know how my phone's going to deal with it all, because I've only ever done shorts when I had really good internet. So, and weirdly enough, where I'm at right now, I either have absolutely no internet or great internet. There's no in between. So really doesn't allow me to test it until we're on the road. So yeah, there's that. But that is my plan. And as long as we can get a short through and slip it through the internet signals, I'm wanting to do something like that. So you will at least hear from me in that time, in theory. If not, my plan B is to maybe message Jade or Squirrel and see if they would maybe update y'all. Of course, you can always jump into the Gilded server, which Jade will probably link that link again, just because that's what Jade does to make me look smart. And I will also be trying to post updates in the Gilded server, and the admin usually would share my I'm okay, not my locations or whatnot, but I'm okay, doing well, trips going well, stuff like that. So that's also an option if all else fails. So there you go. Let's see. Halloween. I may be able to pick up some, but we will see, because we are way understaffed right now. Yes, Squirrel. I'm not saying you have to. If you're bored and you want to, that's on you. But I'm not going to require it in any way. So, don't worry about that. Does getting a tattoo of a dragon keep your connection to the dragon stronger? No, it really don't. A tattoo is a picture of it's ink that makes up a picture on you. There's nothing actual magically special about having a tattoo. So if you get a dragon tattoo, it's the same thing as buying a dragon picture to put on your wall, except instead of, oh look, picture. Anybody can have a picture. It's you just put it on your skin. There's a difference in just a tattoo and a magical tattoo. And there is some risk to magical tattoos that would actually be a great video in and of itself. A lot of things people don't think about there. So yeah, just because there's people who don't believe in dragons that have dragon tattoos, and and then there's people who do believe in dragons that have them, and it does nothing for that. Be really handy if it did. Well, yeah, I mean, yeah, I agree. If I do that video, I want it to be a serious one. So, and Jade, there's the link. Thank you, Jade. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. Appreciate that. Hopefully, everyone has been having a good start to their new year. We're only, what is it, 7, 8 days in? 8 days. Yeah, that's right. Okay, 8 days. Hopefully, everybody, if you did a self-improvement concept of any kind, I won't say New Year's resolution, and I won't say New Year, New Me, because those are crap. Even if I achieve my full, absolute maximum effort 6-month goal, I will never call that a New Year, New Me, because I guarantee you, I may have reached these goals, but I will be the same a-hole I was last year. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep. I'll be the same Drake. That is for sure. Oh, and that reminds me, Happy New Year to you too, Gabriel. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Hope you're enjoying it. So yeah, hopefully if you've done any of those, you're doing it. And if you have tripped and stumbled upon your goals, don't give up. Don't give up. Tripping and falling is part of life. That is a big one. A lot of people, they will trip, they will stumble, and then they're like, well, that's it. Screw it. I give up. Don't do that. The trip and the stumble is part of it. The important part isn't that you tripped and stumbled. The important part is when you get up, you dust yourself off, you get back on the road. Okay? Think of anything you do for self-improvement, whether it be in magic, whether it be in health and fitness, whether it be in education, I don't care what it is. You will trip, you will fall, you will stumble, you will slow down, you will lose momentum. Okay? Think of that like a straight line between 2 points, A and B, and even say it's 1,000 freaking miles and you got to hike it. Okay. If you trip and fall, if you sit down and rest, that doesn't set you all the way back at point A. Okay? You're still here. You went rest. Fall down. Okay, I need 2 weeks rest. Eventually, as long as you continue to get up, dust yourself off, and move forward, you're going to get there. Even if you go and somebody, say a cheesecake or your brother or some idiot drags you backwards a little bit. Okay, well, get back up and start walking, and you will still make progress. Always move forward to the best of your ability, okay? Always. Just because you trip, just because you stumble, don't let it stop you. Capiche? That's an important one. Too many people lose that. They think once they trip, they fall, that's it, they failed. No, you only fail when you give up. You only fail when you give up. Let's see. Dragon of the West asks, do we see auras with color or just impressions? We see colors using our arcane senses, and by and large, an aura will be an impression upon your arcane senses, and depending on how well it's developed, will depend on what you see. So some people pick auras up only as a feeling. Some people will pick auras up as The best way I can describe it is if like you've ever been outside in summer and you looked across the hood of the car and you saw that heat distortion go, woo. Sometimes it's on the concrete, so it's so blipping hot. They will see auras kind of as that heat distortion. And they may never see colors. But due to that and the emotions, they can figure out what it is. Some people do see colors. Now, here's another kicker. If you see a color, one color does not actually mean the same thing from one person to another. These aura correspondence charts are the worst junk I've ever seen. And most of those aura charts are almost like a little freaking scare tactic. But yeah, so it depends on your development there. Let's see. I'm not control energies or sense much. I could feel my phantom animal here. How is it different or similar from sensing other of my energy within my body? I'm not sure what you mean by phantom animal ears. But if you're able, I mean, if you mean like, like my wife has 2 cats that passed on and they're still running around the house. If you're talking about something like that, there's no difference. Energy is energy is energy. If you can feel that, you can feel energy. The only barrier is in your mind at that point. True story. Energy is energy is energy. So yeah, at that point, if that is the case, then the only barrier is in your head. But as I've said on this channel many a times, the greatest hurdle, the greatest barrier is us. It is ourselves. It is us getting in our own way in our head. Many of the people here in this chat tonight know exactly what I'm talking about because many of you in the gilded community, it was all about working around your own personal mental block to sidestep that. And the hardest obstacle is you. It really is, hands down. Is Jesus a spirit you can work with? Yep, I work with him quite a bit. I know a lot of Christians. They work with him. I even have helped many individuals who had questions concerning the Bible or Jesus find their particular road or path. There's actually an ongoing joke that I've led more people to Jesus since I left the church than when I was in it. There may be pagans out there right now whose head just freaking exploded about this. And I don't really judge people for their religion. I judge people by their actions. And I will help an individual find the path that is right for them. And if that is the path that's right for them, then kudos to them. I will not judge them. In fact, if I find you judging other people like that, you'll quickly find I have no time for you. So there is that. But yes, Jesus is actually a real entity and actually a pretty cool one to sit and chat with. I still occasionally sit down and chat with him. So my sisters haven't invited me to church in a while. And I don't know if that's because they think I won't go or what, but I mean, I would. I mean, if they invited me, I'd go. But at the same time, usually when I'm visiting, everything's so rush. I don't think they think of it. And I sure as heck ain't going to volunteer to get up early because I'll be honest, I don't like getting up early. It's just that simple. So, yay. As easy as that. That would depend on your personal belief and religion, because many people do view him as a god, and many people view him. Here's the kicker. Okay, so let's look at this strictly from a biblical mythology perspective. Okay, God is a god. Jesus is the son of God. That would make him a god. Just like Odin is a god, Thor is the son of Odin. Thor is a god. Does Thor being the son of Odin suddenly make him a non-god? No, he's still a god. Jesus and God's relationship work exactly the same. So to suddenly just say Jesus ain't a god because he's God's son, that's just that's ridiculous. Now there are people who view Jesus as more of an ascended master as opposed to God's son, and there's different schools of thought there, and I respect those schools of thought. But then there's also people who think Odin was a shaman who ascended. So again, different schools of thought. You also got people who think most of the Egyptian gods were never gods. They were actually pharaohs who just kind of put themselves up on a pedestal. There's historical precedence for that possibility. Um, you have to understand that there is a certain level of personal experience and that goes into all this. So when you're approaching the mythology, when you're approaching the concept, you have to at least leave some thought and consideration for that. That's one of the reasons we did the video on are entities real or subconscious, which actually was a really fun video for me to do. And it's always a really fun conversation to have with other magicians too. Because you have a lot of magicians who will tell you no entity exists, period. They're all just part of our subconscious. And we're actually just giving a tangible form to that subconscious. And that's what's helping us manifest it. And then you have people who they're completely real external entities of us. And I have seen these two groups just bicker and argue, which, as I said in that video, at the end of the day, whether they're external or they're part of my subconscious, if I'm manifesting the results I'm looking for, guess what? I don't care. I really don't care. It ends up the same way either way when you look at the results. And that is a philosophical rabbit hole you could dive down forever. Is it a fun conversation? Absolutely. But if you're having that conversation, have the conversation respectfully and mindfully. Don't start attacking. That's something I see more and more in the occult community that pisses me off is if you don't agree 100% with another person, they attack you. And that's just bollocks. You're welcome to your opinion. You really are. But just understand your opinion, your philosophy, it's just yours. Even if you can find people who agree with you, it's still just your opinion. And there's going to be plenty of people who will disagree with you. And their disagreement has no effect on you that you don't allow it. If you allow their disagreement to get in your craw and piss you off, that's your fault. That's on you. You're the one pissing you off, not them. Remember, it's about self-mastery and self-empowerment. If someone else's thoughts or opinion piss you off, you're not in control of yourself. You do not have self-mastery. You have work to do. Okay? Remember that. Like right here, Mary mentions other kin. I actually have no proof in any shape, form, or fashion that has ever made me believe in other kin. It's a term I've seen for well over 20 years. And I've seen actually no proof of it in any shape, form, or fashion. Does that make the other kin communities invalid? No. They got their community, they got their thing. Many of them, their ideals and philosophies help them. That's great. I'm generally not the right guy to come to because I'm a data-based magician, okay? And outside just I believe this, there's there's no data. And that's fine. That's perfectly okay. And people need to learn it's okay for people to disagree. It's okay for them not to believe what they believe. As long as you're doing what you're doing and you're not harming another person in the process, that's fine. Now, if you believe it's okay to go out and just punch every person you walk past, now I've got a problem with you because you're harming people who don't deserve it. That's the line. That's the line. Let's see, friend. I was thinking Jesus was a thought form created by the beliefs of people. I heard about how you can create your own thought forms. Thought forms are easy to create, but they're also very, very weak and they're easy to destroy. They could easily be nuked with a very simple cleansing ritual. So no, I mean, if you look on the external entities, which thought forms are an external entity, then you are going to have to. I would have to say Jesus would definitely not be a thought form because there's way too many cleansing rituals in which I personally am fully aware of that Jesus has just stood and been like, so not a thought form by that definition. But to the people who think that all divinity is some form of egregore, then if you're going to say Jesus is an egregore or a thought form, then you're going to have to say all divinity is. And that's the funny thing, because there's a lot of practitioners out there where they're like, my gods are real, yours are just egregores. And they get all snooty. And I hate snooty people. And it's like, wait, so you're automatically going to call mine an egregore and yours real? Well, what if I just flip the script and mine are real and yours are egregores? And then they're like, get all offended. It's like, look, you just did the same thing. Don't be a freaking hypocrite. But that is one of those little philosophical questions, and it's a good question. It's a good question. What if all things that humans may call divinity, what if they are just egregores, thought forms that we created that are so strong that maybe the basic cleansing wouldn't? Let's consider that dynamic. Even though all thought forms I've encountered can easily be popped like a balloon, let's take time to step back and consider that dynamic, okay? Well, if that's the case, if that dynamic is true, and does it matter? I would say no. And why do I say that? Because if an individual can work with Odin, they can work with Zeus, they can work with Hades, they can work with Freya, they can work with Freyr, they can work with Thor, they can work with Jesus, they can work with Yahweh, and they get beneficial results that help them in their life to improve who they are, what the frick do I care if it's an egregore or a real divinity? The only reason I would care is if I was drastically insecure in me. See what I'm saying? And if I'm drastically that insecure in me, the work that needs to be done is here. And arguing with someone else, all that does is further feed into the insecurity. So much like I say in that video about are entities real or subconscious, you could apply that to are entities real or thought forms, or real or egregores. And the end of the day is, if you're getting the results in your life and your path that you hope from working with this particular thing, it doesn't matter. You do you. You be the best you can be. Let other people be the best they can be, and don't be judgmental. Don't go putting them down. And as long as people aren't hurting one another, who the flip cares? If that makes sense. Because people really get uppity and pissy and just downright not nice about some of this stuff. And I've never understood it. I really haven't. And Jade is throwing clocks at me because I have already gone over my time. Halloween tried to warn me, but I didn't see it, and I got hit with the clocks. Thanks for trying to warn me, Squirrel. At least you tried. All right, everybody, we will get ready to wrap up here real fast because Jade is already slinging clocks at me like she does. Is there a way to make your thoughts form stronger? It takes time and effort. And I know someone who spent well over 20 years pumping energy into a single thought form, and it still popped like a balloon. I've seen group initiatives do the same thing, and it still popped like a balloon. This is kind of why, when it comes to our divinity's egregore, I'm skeptical of that thought process, because somehow, some way, these egregores would have to survive beyond generations without ever encountering some form of cleansing. And given the concept of how superstitious humans are, and how historically all religions, not one religion is free of this statement, all religions tried to supplant another religion, always. Even pagans used to kill Christians for fun and entertainment. So it's all religions that done it. It seems highly statistically unlikely that they could survive without being hit by a cleansing, because that's kind of the basics of all things. It's like, well, you're going to get ready to set your space, you're going to get ready to cleanse, whether it be by incense or smudging or whatnot. It just seems unlikely to me. No, I didn't say impossible. It seems unlikely. But it does start to get more and more unlikely when we consider how many of these egregores we talk about. But that's me. Other people have different thoughts on it, and I respect that. And I do always keep that window open, you see, because I actually did start with the subconscious and the egregore placing in my practice originally. I shifted away from it from my personal experiences. And at the end of the video that I was talking about, remember, I said, does it matter if you're getting the results? And see, there's the kicker. When it comes down to it at the end, It's a philosophical discussion. It's an interesting discussion, but it's also a discussion that in the end, I don't think it matters, which to me, I find an interesting discussion, but not worth fighting over the way people do, if that makes sense. So hope that helps a little bit. But before I go down this rabbit hole any further and Jade starts to get a ball bat, I am going to have to get off here, everyone. You have a wonderful, wonderful evening and week. And I'll see you next week. I will see you next week. All right. Take care and good night. Bye-bye.